The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
Foggit is a high-performance fogging oil designed especially for internal combustion engines. Foggit can be used by everyone. If you have a lawnmower, a jet ski, a motorcycle, a tractor, a high-performance car, a classic car, racing vehicles, if it has a cylinder wall, it needs Foggit.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. WFO Radio, back on the air. I'm Joe Castello, and we are talking NHRA Mission Foods drag racing on this episode and on every episode, because that's pretty much what our show is all about. I'm super excited because we've got the Gerber Collision and Glass Route 66 NHRA Nationals presented by Peak Performance, winners in the funny car category, as well as Pro Stock Motorcycle. We're talking about Matt Hagan. We're talking about Gaige Herrera. And yeah, there's a lot of sponsors for this race. Super exciting that we have kind of gotten the word that we'll be back at Route 66 Raceway for the next couple of years. And so that, gives us a little stability in the market. It's going to be very exciting, but it's all about growing the sport through the fans, you guys out there. So what I always ask is share the show. If you're out there watching on X, I know the notification just went out live. If you're out there on X, repost the show. And so everybody can see Matt Hagan after his 51st victory. He beats John Force in the final round. He's going to the Indy 500 this weekend. It's going to be great. We're going to bring on Hagan. We're going to have Gaige Herrera, who tied Dave Schultz 8 events in a row. What? 8 in a row. It's insane. And what I'm super excited about, we are scheduled to have the anthem singer from Sunday morning. His name is John Vincent. He sings for the Chicago Cubs. He sung for the Cubs in the World Series that they won, Game 4, and that was his first drag racing experience. He agreed to do it without understanding what he was going to, and he was going to leave right after the anthem, and I was like, please stay 10 minutes. And he calls me on Monday, and he's like, thank goodness I stayed. This has changed my life. I had no idea this existed. It's a great deal. We're going to have him on the show. Hopefully we're trying to connect and get him on the show to talk about his baptism by nitro, which is how we grow the sport. We take people who love intense things and we show them drag racing and they fall in love. Speaking of someone who loves intense things, I think it's fair to say he joins us now, Matt Hagan. What's up, champ? How you doing? And he
Hey, brother.
There he is. So what?
There we go.
What do we got going on here? You got one of your bodies up on the ceiling for decoration or something?
Yeah, man. So kind of just show you. So this is one of my world championship bodies. This is my man cave, man. So it's like my little place where I keep all my race stuff. But got a 69 dart back here, some race suits, some Wallies up there, some Wallies here. Some Wallies over here, Wallies over there. Got a couple championship trophies. My brother's car, suitcase I live out of pretty much. Just little man cave view,
Got to have your own spot. I love it. Thanks for the tour. Unexpected. I've never seen this area, but you got to have that. And you're collecting more and more now, right? Like the more years you spend in the NHRA, 4-time champ, 51 wins back to back, and you win at Route 66. And you get a little comeback against John Force, who got you out there in Pomona at Phoenix.
Yeah, Force, that guy is a living legend. And I think it's every time I race the guy, as I've gotten older, I respect it more. You know what I'm saying? I think, coming up 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you're kind of you feel like, I guess you're kind of a punk kid. You got something to prove. But at the end of the day, that guy's the GOAT. And you don't know when his last run is going to be or even when his last race might be. And, so it's just kind of every time I get to run the guy, it's just, I really respect him. I have a lot of honor there for him. And it's just one of those things where it's like when you get to beat the best, it's pretty awesome. So, John he's been great for the sport. He's been a shot in the arm, but I think, it almost feels like Tony Stewart is the new next John Force. You know what I mean? Like he's the next best thing for NHRA. And, and I hope NHRA is embracing that, but it was great to race John in the finals. It was just amazing to take a really tough, challenging racetrack And those guys put a good race car underneath me. They got better every run, and just kind of one of those things where, I rolled in, 11th qualifier. And I was like, man, this might be a short day today. Don't have lane choice. Car's not really going down the racetrack. Got stuck over in the left lane pretty much all weekend because of the too fast, too tasty, and didn't have lane choice in any of that. And then, so you're just kind of like, I'm like, man, we're fighting it here all week, and just to come out on top, to end up, adapting to the conditions. And really, I felt like I was cutting the tree down this weekend, man. I was seeing the light really good. Just everything kind of came together at the end for us.
Yeah, really exciting, but challenging. And, looking back on the weekend, I'm thinking to myself, wow, it was great. But there were moments in qualifying where I'm thinking nobody's getting down the racetrack. And I, as a communicator, I want to explain to the fans that that's part of it. Like, that's part of it. You don't come to the race just expecting to see cars just go from here to there every time and light up the scoreboard. Like, that's not how it works. This is a track that was lying dormant for a year. There had been no nitro cars on it. They scraped, they tried to bring it back, but when a track doesn't get nitro cars, it acts differently. By Sunday, we were there, but throughout qualifying, it was a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, it's always challenging because a lot of times too, unbeknownst to anybody else, sometimes you have oil down. And then, Sunday morning, we had a guy break a rear end in the left lane, and that rear end oil is extremely hard to get up, So, we kind of had that going against us too. And Safety Safari does a great job of really kind of like cleaning the stuff up, but you only have so much time. You got the track walk going on, you have all this other stuff, and it's kind of like they did the best job they could, and they said, let's go, So sometimes it does turn into just a one-lane racetrack, and lane choice is so crucial. And, and we just, I felt like we were probably 500 or 600 behind the ball there when we needed to be, in that left lane. We couldn't run as hard as we could in the right. So it just kind of was like kept going up there, pressing a little bit more, and just seeing what we could get away with. And, I got really lucky first round too. It put two cylinders out and crossed the center line over there, after the 1320, but I wasn't sure where 1320 was, because, I knew I made it to the finish line, but man, it put number 4 and number 6 out. And when it made a hard move over to the right, I had my hands turned all the way over as I could, and it was still dragging me over there. And I went over and apologized to Ron because I just, sometimes it's out of your control, but I've always prided myself in like really doing a good job of keeping my car in the lane and not hitting anything over the years. And, so I don't know what happened there with it just being those two cylinders, in the middle of the engine there that just kind of, it really darted me over there. And I kind of like, when I went to grab it, I missed it a little bit and coming back over. So kind of got like, that's like the one lucky round you got to have a little bit to kind of, on race weekends sometimes to get through. And we got lucky there. And I was over the radio. The radio wasn't really working. I was like, did we win? Did we lose? Like, all that kind of stuff. So definitely a wild first round for me, having those two holes out and after the finish line, getting over there towards that center line. And just, I wasn't sure what the ruling really was. So we had to go back and they read it and looked at it and they're like, you're good. So I knew once they said we're good and we got to start the service in our car, they weren't going to, go back on that or not. So I didn't even get to see the replay or anything like that or what it was or how close it was. But I knew in my seat it looked, it felt kind of hairy on down there after the finish line,
Well, it was hairy, but like your driving credentials are not in question, right? Like we know, how to handle a race car, and it's good for the fans to see that these things are a handful. It's not an easy ride. It's a handful. If Matt Hagan every once in a while has a moment, that means the cars are hard to drive.
Yeah, especially on the big end. They're already trying to bounce off the rev limiter to slow us down there, because, obviously with these crew chiefs just had free reign, it would be unreal what they could do with the cars as far as mile an hour and ET and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of things on there that they try to do to kind of slow us down, but it also makes it a little bit more challenging to drive because the rev limiter down there, it starts hitting the rev limiter and then cylinders start going out and different things like that. But what happened with us, it just kind of spun the tire down there where we were just pushing a little too hard after the clutch came to it. Spun the tire a little bit, dropped 2 holes, and then it was just a slugfest trying to get it back over there. And got it reeled back in. But man, I never liked that feeling of knowing that I'm over there and someone else is shut down lane or something like that. So went over and said sorry. We'll do a worse job next time. You know what I mean? So he was cool about it. And we all know we've been driving these things for a long time, and we all understand sometimes stuff happens, and we have that. But so I always try when I see somebody have some problems out there, struggle, I try not to pick fun at them because I know sometimes it can be really really challenging.
A lot of people shouting out, saying what's up and congratulations. Roscoe, a.k.a. the Yeti from the zoo, says your new helmet is fire. I didn't see the helmet. I didn't watch the coverage just yet. Tell me about it.
Man, Austin Paulin does a great job. You know, and I get so many different paint schemes every year that, you know, we have so many different one-offs here and there. And we have guys that, you know, we'll have, you know, 2 or 3 with American Rebel and 5 or 6 with Johnson Horsepower Garage, and you have Dodge, and you have so I wanted something that was just kind of like a neutral color. So I was like, black and gold is just kind of will go with about anything that you want to, you know. And so I had Austin make me up kind of like a neutral helmet, but it has like it's a mohawk full of sponsors, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like got off, and instead of just kind of giving everybody, you know, like Dodge and different things, places here and there. I was just like, let's just do a cool, since I can't grow no hair, let's do a cool mohawk back through here with sponsors and just do it up. And Austin Poland has been doing my helmets forever, and he kills it, man. He's doing Tony's helmets now, and he does a lot of NASCAR guy stuff, but Austin is a rock star in his own. And he honestly, when I first met him, he was kind of like begging me to get on the scene to do a helmet. And now I can't even get a spot to get in there to do a helmet. I was like, bro, you're such a rock star now. I was like, you got to fit me in, you know what I mean? So it's really cool to see him grow as an artist and him grow as a helmet designer and painter. And, you know, it's really cool to watch everything evolved and how he's gotten to be such a great painter, and everybody's kind of after him to get these helmets painted and stuff. So Austin does an amazing job, always hooks me up, always takes care of me. But we go way back. So he almost actually was going to leave in the final. He said, because every race that he's been to, I've lost in the final. And I was like, dude, they ain't doing that. I said, stay here, man. I said, we got this, you know. So he stayed and was got winter circle pictures, and he was just on cloud 9, man. So, and that's what I really love is that, you know, after the race, when you guys are down there and we put the stage out and all the fans stay after and they pass the trophy around and all these little kids get to touch the trophy for the first time, and, you know, and it blows their mom and dad away, and then the mom and dad get to take a picture with it and stuff. And it's just really cool. You know what I mean? Like that's to me, that's what I look forward to. You know, the champagne spraying and all that stuff is great, but I really look forward to like hurrying up and getting back to the stage down there where you and Reinhart are talking and you know, just sharing that trophy with everybody. You know, that's kind of what does it for me, man.
And people need to learn that that's part of the experience. There's a lot of people that they want to go sit in their cars after it's over and like inch along for a half hour. And instead they could come down to the stage and hang out and experience that. And then when they go get in their car, they drive right home. It's no problem. It's just, we got to retrain, or maybe it's just something for the smart diehard fans to experience. All right, let's watch this final round, Matt. Let's watch the final round. This is, just so you understand, this is my view of your 51st win against John Force in the final round. Let's check it out.
All right. That's cool.
Isn't it? You know, smoke's in there.
That. Yeah. I don't ever get to see that. You know what I mean? So that's really cool.
That's why I wanted to show you, because you don't get to see that. You get the Fox version, and the Fox version is really cool, but their cameras are so good. It's not like you're a guy standing there, and I am genuinely a guy standing there.
That's awesome. And I love that, man. Yeah, that gives me chill bumps, you know, and like just to see those guys like celebrate after they work so hard and accomplish that is massive, you know. And it's like I always miss that celebration because you're in the car and you're just over the radio if you don't see the wind light coming on, like, did we get him? Did we get him? You know, and it's just kind of it's cool to be able to go back and look at that and see those guys so happy since they worked so hard all day to be there, you know. And not that Force's guys didn't work hard all day to be there either, you know. I mean, that's really what's such a punch in the gut. A lot of times you get to these finals and I think that when you don't get it done, you know, it makes you just like, man, you know, because those guys did the same amount of work as our guys did, you know. And I think the stat was like I've raced Force 11 times or something, and we won 7 of them in the finals. So pretty good stats against Force, you know. Like I said, living legend over there. But at the end of the day, man, I tell you, it did throw me off that he turned that top bulb off. I mean, you know he's going to do it, right? But like, it just kind of, you cut your eyes over and cut your eyes back, and you know. But I mean, hey, that's why you do it, you know what I mean? But it's just kind of one of those things where it definitely does kind of like, wow, what's that little extra there? You know what I mean? In the final, that kind of thing. So, but like I said, that's all within the rules, and everybody, like Bob Taska said, it don't matter. It don't matter.
Here we are again, right?
Yeah.
Comment lasts forever. It don't matter.
It don't matter. Yeah. No, he called me. He actually texted me. He said, you kind of sounded like me a little bit. He said, yeah, let it roll off your tongue a little bit more,
Well, you're going to the right place to practice, right? We're going up to New England next. Let's close the book on Chicago. Just a final note, because I felt great about our Saturday crowd. The Sunday crowd was really strong. Even Friday was good. We had the celebration of life for Don Schumacher, and that was, for me, and I had good, positive interactions with Don. He was always helpful to me, but like, you worked there, the ups, the downs. You've talked a lot last week. You talked a lot about just the way he motivated and the way he worked, and how, it's still on you. Like, you still work hard because of that motivation. What was it like to experience that celebration of life, and just kind of the finality, and seeing the Don Schumacher car that Tony ran? It had me feeling, thinking deep thoughts about even my own family.
Yeah, Don was one of those guys where he's just always going to be successful, and he put the parts and pieces and the people in place to do that, and didn't accept anything less, and so he drove you as an individual, as a driver, as a competitor to be the best you can, and I think that's why I'm able to be a 4-time world champion. There's a lot of because of Don Schumacher, and a lot of because of my father. You know what I mean? I look up to him as probably more than anybody in this world. But it's just one of those things. It was definitely a sad weekend to see closure on the Schumacher deal, and but also a celebration because of all the things that he's helped propel my career. And that was really cool to have Antron and me kind of like double up in the final. And it was kind of like an old DSR double of it. Kind of felt like it was weird. You just get those feelings, and those feelings. It was just kind of like we were back, in that old DSR era where we doubled up, and me and AB were celebrating in the winner's circle, and it was just cool, man. It was almost like, damn, this is meant to be. You know what I mean? So you take those and you put them back in those memory banks and just enjoy them and play through all the stuff that you had. But we're digging ahead, full steam ahead, and at TSR now, and we got a lot of stuff to still put on the books, and prove and do, and we're really trying hard to get Tony his first win. I know he is so used to success. I think maybe sometimes he's starting to get a little frustrated, but I think that it's a good learning and growing curve in NHRA for him, and I'm just still so super excited that he is so super excited about NHRA. I think that if he was to come out here and just have uber success right off the rip, maybe he wouldn't appreciate it so much. And he's been still very successful. There's a lot of cars that just want to qualify, and he's qualifying and doing well and going rounds and pedaling the car. He's got a great feel for the car. As far as the driver's side of things, I don't think there's any question that Tony's doing his job out there. It's just we just got to get the race car underneath him, and when that happens and they click, it's going to be great. But I'm really, really wanting and looking forward to like doubling up with him. We did that in the A-Fuel car in Vegas, and that was really cool. And I just know when this guy turns on 4 win lights in the final in Top Fuel, he's going to burn the town down, man. It's going to be cool. We're going to have a lot of fun doing it, but we're all going to get there. We're all working hard behind the scenes, and they tested yesterday, had some good runs. And, I did a media tour in Richmond to promote the Richmond race yesterday, and we're just all digging deep and working hard, man, and trying to grow this sport with NHRA. But honestly, just trying to put on a good show for these fans, because the fans are the folks that really pay the bills and do the stuff and, buy the sponsor stuff. And, without them, we can't do it. So if we don't put a good show for them, and we don't, go do some fast drag racing and make it exciting for them, then we don't have nobody paying our bills. So, it all comes back down to being showmen. Like John Force said one time, he said, kid, when you're on fire and blowing up, he said, get out and roll around on the ground and act like you're on fire and ask for Oprah Winfrey. You know what I mean? Something out of that movie. You know what I mean? So, but he gets it, man. And that's why he's been so great out here in the sport. So, we're going to keep working hard and hopefully put on a good show. You will put on a good show. Like I get into it sometimes with folks, drivers, because I talk about the down periods, like when things are down and they don't want to hear about things being down because they don't like it, right? And sure, that's true, but you can't have a great comeback story if you didn't have a down period, right? You got to tell both sides of the story. So when Tony had his interview on the top end of the racetrack after Q3, and he's going to be on the bump,
and you could see him, in my opinion, for the first time in the NHRA, like feeling.
You could hear it over the radio. Like we all sat in a tow vehicle, we're like, boss man not happy right now. You know what I mean? So you could feel him, just you could feel it through the energy, through the radio, just his interview.
Yeah. But that's good. People need to see that. This is not easy, guys. It's not just cars going straight. How'd your Richmond media tour go? Are we going to have a good event out there?
It went great, man. We did some ESPN. We did some radio shows, so ABC, CBS, all that kind of stuff. He had probably like 7 or 8 gigs lined up for me. It was a full day of media. So promoting the race coming up, we'll be there in a month out there in Richmond, kind of Dinwiddie area for home for me, kind of 3 hours down the road, but so is Bristol and Charlotte. But at the end of the day, I was really excited to get out there and kind of talk about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And, just really get people pumped up about coming to the race. Every ticket's a pit pass, and kids 12 and under are free. And then we're only going to do a Saturday and a Sunday deal. So, you got basically 3 runs on Saturday to make it happen, which I love that idea. I'm excited that we're only doing a Saturday, Sunday. I think sometimes it gets strung out like a Friday, everybody's working and everybody's trying to get there for that last hit. And sometimes you're there, and you can make it and you can't. But I love that idea of having like a morning, a lunchtime, and an evening run. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of chomping at the bit to see how it goes.
Wow, me too. I am very excited about it. I think it's a good idea. That's one of the things that was bantered about, been kicked around for a while, and you guys did it down there in Bradenton and it worked. And why not do it occasionally? You're planning on going 4 on Sunday, so 3 on Saturday is not like a challenge by any means.
That's right. No, it's definitely, and it makes sense. It gives the guys, the team owners, they don't have to pay for a hotel room an extra day, all that kind of stuff. It just kind of, the money side of things kind of adds up, when you can do 3 on Saturday, save some hotels, save some travel time. Plane tickets might be a little less, who knows, but it's at the end of the day, I like the idea of cramming it all in there, having a full day on Saturday, a full day on Sunday, and rolling out of there and hopefully holding up the trophy on Monday morning,
Kaylee says congrats on the win. Gary says congrats on the win. All right, we're headed to New England. You teased it in the media center. Is the Fu Manchu coming back? Is it a goatee? Is it a Fu Manchu? What are you doing this time? Because you're like 4 and 1.
I didn't shave this morning, so I got the gray beard coming in a little bit, and just do some handlebars here and see what we can do. So I grew up pretty fast. I can grow a beard in about 3 or 4 days. So I don't think there's a real big issue. But we'll see, man. You never know. As you get older, it just gets whiter and a little bit more coarse.
Believe me, I know it. All right. From what I understand, you're going to the greatest spectacle in racing with Tony this weekend, the Indy 500. Have you ever experienced that? And you're going to be repping NHRA Drag Racing, and you guys go. This is the crazy stat. I love Indy. I love it. It's an American staple. It's a staple of world motorsports. It's amazing. They had their fastest ever pole speed ever, and you guys go 100 miles per hour faster than that.
That's cool, ain't it? Right? I mean, put it in perspective how cool our race cars are. I was talking to Ron Capps the other day, and he was like, do you really still believe that we get to do this for a living? Like, it's just cool. He's like, this is even cooler than NASCAR stuff. You know what I mean? So, absolutely, man. I get pinched all the time, pinch myself all the time to make sure it's real, and it's just kind of one of those things where it is absolutely amazing with our motorsport and our platform. But it's cool to see other guys do other things in other motorsports, and that's what we're going to go do this weekend. Obviously check out the race, check out the snake pit. Been the last couple years in a row, and so it's kind of like a little tradition for me now. So just kind of keep it up, have some fun, and see some great people, some great racing. The only problem is getting out of there, man. It's always so packed. You know what I mean? So getting in is not so bad, but man, you better kind of hang out and wait around like we were talking about, hang out and see the champions. So. But we're going to go out there, mix it up, have some fun, hopefully not get too sunburnt, and drink a few beers and just kind of kick back and watch some good racing.
Try to get some people to come out to the big go in Labor Day weekend. It's going to be great out there at IRP. Matt, congratulations. I see we got Gaige Herrera down there. We got John Vincent, who sung the anthem. He is like the Cubs anthem singer. He experienced nitro for the very first time, and in 2 minutes, he got hooked on it. He's like in love with the sport. He's going to tell us all about it. I thank you very much.
What? No way, guy. You know what I'm saying? He's all about it, man. He
was crazy.
Yeah, love
one time they get hooked.
Yeah, that's it, man.
It's amazing. We need more of them. Well, have a great weekend out there. Appreciate it. Congratulations. Back-to-back wins, 51 and more to come. So thank you for so much for joining us on WFO each time you win.
Thanks, brother. See you soon.
There he goes, Matt Hagan, the champ, four-time champ with us here on WFO Radio. All right, I see John Vincent down there. I see Gaige Herrera. Gaige is next. Super excited to talk about 8 consecutive wins on a Pro Stock motorcycle. It is absolute insanity. We'll have Gaige after
For
this.
more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
And big thanks to the folks at FTI for supporting WFO Radio. And if you're watching on YouTube, we ask you to subscribe, click the bell, never miss a show. And those of you who have been really paying attention, you've probably noticed the WFO app is dead. It hung in there for a couple of weeks after we thought it was gonna be over, but now it does not seem to be responding. It's like Voyager out there. It's just like it's no longer responding. But the good news is we're on X. Hopefully you will repost on X. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We broadcast to Twitch. I don't know why though, but our Apple Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, Amazon Podcast, that is still the biggest and best way to get your WFO. All right, let's talk to the guy who won 8 consecutive NHRA national events in Pro Stock motorcycle. If he wins the next one, he'll tie Bob Glidden for most of all time, Mr. Gaige Herrera. What's up, Gaige? How are you?
Not much. What's going on, Joe? I'm doing good.
Okay, these numbers and these names, these are legends of our sport. They're the greatest of all time. Dave Schultz, you tied him. You're undefeated on the year. You haven't, tasted defeat just yet. How is this happening?
I mean, I gotta give it up to my whole team, Andrew and all of them. I mean, it's really amazing, and I can't believe I'm the one that's doing it. Being able to be a part of it. It's kind of very surreal to realize what's really been happening. Last season was amazing, and now this season we're starting off kind of the same as I did last year. But to have 8 consecutive race wins and tying Dave Schultz, I mean, I never would have imagined being able to do that. And now, if I get another win, being tying Bob Glidden, I mean, I grew up hearing those guys' names and, what they did for the sport. Bob Glidden was Pro Stock car, Dave Schultz was Pro Stock motorcycle. And, they're the legends of NHRA Drag Racing. And it's very crazy to hear my name even in the same sentence as them and, kind of doing what they did many years ago. You never would have thought it would have been possible in today's, today.
You had some competition at this race, though. Matt Smith has picked up the pace. He's changed some parts and pieces. I know you didn't expect to just be able to crush the competition in perpetuity, right? Like they were going to rally back. They're starting to rally back. Your next race is in Bristol, as I understand it. And that's one you didn't win last year. And that's the critical race where you can become the person who has won the most consecutive races, tied with Bob Glidden of all time.
Yeah, I mean, this last weekend in Chicago, Matt Smith got #1 qualifier. My hat's off to him. All his hard work's been paying off. And, I went into race day very excited. There's nothing better than good, tight competition. And, I was 2 to 3 hun behind Matt in qualifying. And we went into race day that the air was about the same as qualifying, but we had a little headwind. And, we basically ran the same as qualifying. And I figured Matt would have been right there too. It was a little hot also, so the track was a little greasy, but I went into race day so excited, for a race day. I love good competition. I kind of blocked out, try not to think about the whole consecutive wins deal and go out there and focus on what needed to be done that day. And it was a fun day of racing between racing a teammate or a rental bike LE and then my buddy Chase Vincent. I was so happy for him to see him make it all the way to the final. He's an awesome rider and he did very good. So, there's going to be a lot more of those finals. I feel me, him, or Richard, LD, Matt, Angie, all of them, they're all stepping up in a big way. And this whole season is going to be very interesting and fun.
Yeah, I agree. No, it's going to be great. That's what has to happen, right? Competition improves the breed. You guys are out there. I talked to Andrew on the starting line. I love Andrew Hines. He's always been great. I got great relationships with, all the factions and camps. It's my job to get along well with everybody. But my opinion is that Andrew is quietly proving a point. Can you give me some insight into that?
I feel like he is a little bit. He's determined to go out there and basically dominate. Especially after all, the drama over the off season or the hearsay or the rumors talking about, they don't supply the same parts to everyone and all that. So now he's out there trying to prove a point and then keep dominating. I think he's more focused on that than I am. I'm more focused on going out there and having fun and just doing what I love to do, which is race, ride motorcycles. And not only that, but he wants Richard, he wants Kelly, he wants LE, he wants everyone that buys parts from him or Vance and Hines to go out there and just do good, and so him, Ed, all the guys back at the shop are really focused on the whole program, and like they always have been. I just feel like this year, they got a little more to prove to basically stop the keyboard warriors, give the haters something more to talk about type of thing. But ultimately, I think it's lit a lot of fire under quite a bit of people. I mean, not only our team, but then like the people that support us, calling Matt a crybaby and this and that. I mean, I think he's damn near tested almost once a week since Gainesville, and that's kind of crazy to me, but it's paying off, and it's what the class needs. The class needs tighter competition, not only for us racers, but the spectators and everything. And I mean, the class is already getting talked about so much more than I've ever heard in my entire lifetime that, it's going to help the class grow, and it's going to be good. I'm very excited for it.
I am too. Gaige, we'll let you go. We know you're at work. Where we last left off, your boss was maybe going to come out to Route 66 Raceway. Did that happen?
No, unfortunately, he had to go to Europe for his nephew's graduation. So he graduated from military or something, I believe. So that was a little more important.
Yeah, it really is. Like I was just going to say, it's not until you said that it was military, and then okay, yeah, it is. Next time we'll be back there next year. That's already in the book, so he can come next year and build upon it. Gaige, thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing your story. And you mentioned Kelly Klontz. I don't know if it was said on the microphone. She was scheduled to go. She didn't go because they had, I guess, an illness or an incident with like a beloved family pet, and they decided to stay home and take care of the pet. You know what? Priorities, right? We just saying priorities. I think that demonstrates it for Kelly as well. Can't wait to have her back when we see in Bristol.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's like her child, so I can't blame her.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Gaige, be well. You want to say anything to your girlfriend?
Hi, happy birthday. Or it's over now, but
I don't know what you're trying to accomplish. Hopefully it worked out. But it was cute. Like, let us behind the scenes a little bit. That was cute.
Yeah, it was good. She didn't want me to mention nothing about her birthday, but it was her birthday weekend. We went up to downtown Chicago, had a nice dinner and stuff on Thursday to celebrate, and then came home with the win on Sunday. So we got to celebrate some more, not only her birthday, but the winning. And so it was a fun weekend overall. And I put her on blast a little bit on the microphone, but I had to.
Well, listen, that means you're getting comfortable with us, right? You're learning that you can use us for your own ends. And that is absolutely correct. Feel free anytime. Just let us know. We love to be in on a gag like that. All right, Gaige, great job.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate you. Gaige Herrera with us here on WFO Radio. He is your Pro Stock Motorcycle World Champ. And Dujane Bland out there. Dujane, I listened to you guys last night on Power Hour. Gaige is 61-8 win-loss record for his career. And I guess that includes the 2 Fast 2 Tasties, or is that just everything? He also has 16 wins in 24 races of his young career. Mind-blowing. It really is. It's mind-blowing. Speaking of mind-blowing, our anthem singer is always, like it's kind of a crapshoot. Sometimes they're amazing and sometimes, they're not. So we don't know. So when I heard that John Vincent was going to sing the anthem, I thought to myself, I was like, I've heard that name before.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, join John Vincent as he honors America with our national anthem.
Wait a second. This guy has sung the anthem at the World Series, man. At the World Series.
o'er the land of the free. And the home of the brave.
And they're going nuts, and they were going nuts out at the NHRA as well. He joins us now, the voice of the Cubs, Mr. John Vincent. What's up, John?
Hey, thank you for having me on there. Every time I hear that version, though, I'm like, oh my God, I sound horrible because I have the most tremendous cold. I had the most tremendous cold when I sang in the World Series, and I don't want to make excuses for it. Check out the NLCS Game 6 that I did. I feel much better with that one.
All right.
I felt like I did an okay job at the track on Sunday, but that last one was, ooh.
Okay, so what do I know, right? And John and I have just become friends, everybody. Please share the show out there because you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. In 10 minutes, we became friends, which was super great. But I was just looking for you singing an anthem. I did a quick search. I found the World Series. Of course, I'm going to use that. And when
everybody does. Oh no, my brother. Everybody uses it. Everybody.
Okay. But
when I get on TV, they use it. They always use it. The one cool thing about it is Lady Gaga tweeted about that anthem, and she said, amazing job. And I'm like, you know what? She was at the game, and she felt sorry for me, and that's why she did it. I really do, because I had a real bad cold that week. And I did 3 interviews with like NBC, ABC, and CBS all in one day. And I got sick and I was running around. And the anthem for the World Series was probably my biggest goose egg that I laid. I was like, man, but I got to do it. I got a World Series ring. I got really lucky, and I'll be at Wrigley again tomorrow singing the anthem.
Amazing, amazing. No, I thought to myself, he did better at the NHRA, and I can hear it. I can hear you couldn't fill your lungs with air. You could hear it. Like people
yeah, I was all.
you didn't. Oh, I was like, as I was watching it the first time, oh, he didn't get enough air. Let's see how he does. He's not gonna be able to hold a note for 20 seconds.
I almost fainted right there on the field. I had to take a step back. If you look in the video, and I kind of look back at it and say, it would be kind of funny if you see like this, like walrus on air just kind of go down. But I'm glad it didn't happen then. But back in the day, it would have been such a big blow up, because anytime you mess up the anthem or something happens, look out. And I've been lucky enough to sing at the Pentagon, Duke versus North Carolina at Duke, NFL games, NBA games, NCAA college football. I went to Copenhagen and sang it for the Olympic bid back in 2009 with a bunch of the Olympic athletes, which was really cool. So I've been lucky to sing it at a bunch of places, and one of them was Sunday. What a fun time I had on Sunday. Thank you so much for having me, first of all.
Oh, well.
I'm a fan.
Well, and rapidly. And that's our whole thing and our greatest challenge, like our greatest asset and our greatest challenge. People can walk in and from 1 minute to the next, they're either going to love it like we do, or they're going to hate it because they don't like loud noises and having the inside of their body shook the way you enjoyed it. How did this come about that you were going to sing the anthem? You gave me like the 10-second version before our pre-race ceremony on Sunday morning, and you didn't know what was about to happen. Like, you knew it was an event. It was a race. There were going to be cars.
Yeah.
So how did it come together?
Well, it came together. I was at Wrigley, and I was talking to some people with NHRA and NASCAR who were, talking about the race coming up in the summer and about doing some things by Wrigley at one of the bars over there, Rizzo's. And they said, hey, this is John Vincent. Would you like to meet him? And we just started talking, and they you guys contacted me then on email saying, hey, would you want to do the national anthem on this date? My mom and dad live down towards that way. My father's suffering with Lewy body dementia, Parkinson's, and I watch him on Sundays. So I'm like, why not? Why don't I go to this race, do this anthem, and then take off and watch my dad? And then I pull up to this place, and I just see the stadium, the raceway. I see the people there. I see the whole setup. I see the tailgating. And I'm just like, it took me away for a little bit. Like I said, I'm dealing with my dad right now, and it took me away. And I saw all these smiling faces, people having a great time, partying, having fun. And then you bring me out on that track, brother, and feel, like you said, that shake, that all that stuff. I never experienced anything. I've seen it on TV before. I know who John Force is because I used to love watching the show King of the Hill. So I've known him from that, and I've known he raced cars and stuff like that. But I'd watch it on TV. I'm like, okay. Then I saw it in person, but then I went home to watch my dad, and I watched it with him. And I enjoyed it on TV because I knew how it was, what was going on there and how it felt. So you're right. I became a fan very quickly. And I watched the race Sunday, then the rest of the race with my dad at home.
That's again, it's an asset. It's a challenge. We got to get you there first so you can, now what's happening behind the screen. And most people don't. Now, not every fan gets to go out where you got to go, right?
I thought you really gave me the red carpet, like to go walking on the track. And, when I left, I still had pieces of whatever rubber or whatever it was from the track that came off. And I'm laughing. I'm like, I needed that sound because when I said, hey, I got to leave. And you're like, John, give me 5 minutes. And I'm like, I want to stay for more of these because it was just, boom, you could smell it, you could feel it, and then it just, Monica said, good job, thank you so much, Monica. You could smell it, thank you, Rick, thank you so much. You could just feel the energy, and it's like when somebody says, oh my God, I'm not really a hockey fan, and then you go to a hockey game, and you're like, oh shit, oh, sorry about that.
No, that's all right, this is WFO.
Okay, cool. And then you go like, oh my God, this is so cool. But like I said, I was then able to go home and then really appreciate it with my dad on TV. And I'm like, hey, Dad, I sang there today. And he's kind of, perking up and watching. And then you could see from where I was watching it at the first point, then on TV, the whole thing, the parachutes pop out. When you told me, John, it goes from 0 to 100 in less than 1 second, I thought I misheard you. I went into the car and I Googled it. Because I wanted to post it, but I didn't want to make an idiot of myself and be like, man, John, what are you saying? And it was actually 0 to 100.8 of a second.
Yeah,
and
it's quick. It's actually quicker, John. It's quicker than I said. It's easier. It's an easy number, right? Because nobody knows what 0.8
crazy. Is. That's crazy.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, so Lonnie wants to know if you realize that I'm a New York Yankee fan. Do you know?
Oh man, my best friend's a Yankee fan. And my second favorite team are the Yankees. Being Italian, you got a lot of great Italians that played with DiMaggio back in the day and everything that I have fans for. So Yankees always have a soft spot in my heart. And after every Yankees win, I do Sinatra. What do they play? A little New York, New York. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today.
Tremendous. Well, so
I want to be a part of it. New York, New York, if I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York. That was for
I got goosebumps. I got you gave Joe Castello goosebumps.
Fan in you.
The Yanks are going to play the Cubs September 6th, 7th, 8th. That is 1 week after the U.S. Nationals. I went to Wrigley for the first time on Thursday. I had never been, and it's kind of cool. Like I came to your thing and then you came to our thing the same weekend, but really it doesn't, it's just, you can't convey how special that park is, because I thought to myself, right there, Babe Ruth called his shot in the 1932 World Series. Right there, like it happened. And you mentioned Joe DiMaggio. He stood right there. Bellinger's out there, and I'm like, the same spot. Joe DiMaggio was 50 feet away. Amazing history.
Oh my God, there's a picture of, and I do about 26 different voices. I used to work for Mike Ditka for 20 years, singing at his restaurant. He's like a second dad to me. And Coach Ditka gave me my start in Chicago, and Coach and Mrs. Ditka are like second parents. They hired me in 2001. I got my heart broken from a girl that I thought so at the time. And now you look back at it, you're like, hey, that's a good thing that happened. It made me become a singer. I quit being a headhunter in accounting and finance. Before that, I played some pro ball out in Europe, making like $300 a week, but it was really fun. But then I became a singer in 2001, and Coach Ditka got me into some really great experiences. One was, like I said, I don't know if I told you this, I was singing at a wedding for Joe Girardi and a couple of guys out there. Brian Cashman, one of the scouts, got married, and they asked me to sing. But and I was supposed to sing a Sunday night baseball game at Fenway, Red Sox Yankees. But I want to extend this to you. I'm doing a show in Sicily in early September. Now, I'm coming back supposedly the 5th. If I'm back on the 5th and I get that anthem with the Yankees for the 8th, can you get out to Chicago, my brother?
Yeah, I can.
Right.
Yes.
So if I get that, we're going to talk off the air, but
yes,
we'll get that.
Like, I'm
Cubs Yankees at Wrigley's pretty fun. And the first time I was able to sing an anthem, Cubs Yankees, was wild. And Larry Rothschild, who, you know, I was telling you, a good friend of mine who was with the Cubs pitching staff at that time, then went to the Yankees and San Diego Padres. But yeah, man. Hey, man, your Yankees are good. Aaron Judd. How can you go against him?
No, you can't. He's a good person, right? Like, that's the same thing. The Yankees of old, you know, the Bronx Zoo, all of that stuff. There was at least you could make character arguments occasionally, but fortunately, you know, the Derek Jeter years and now Aaron Judge. You might not like the pinstripes, you might not like the fact that they have won so many times, but the kid's a good kid, man. Like, you want your son to grow up to be like Aaron Judge. You know, maybe not so big because you have to feed him, but it's great. John Vincent, I appreciate it. Where can people follow along with you as you, you know, you're everywhere. You get to do all these great anthems. You got the crooner thing. Like, Lonnie wants to know if you were a voice major at university. Like, where, you know, where did this come from?
Lonnie, I wanted to play football, so I got a degree, an easy degree in like public relations and marketing, and I was like, okay, advertising. I'm gonna go see what I do. Then I went to go play, like I said, a year of ball in Europe. The thing for singing, seriously, just came out of nowhere. I saw Sinatra sing in Chicago in 1993 at the United Center. Don Rickles opened up for him. And I started singing along, and people go, hey, John, you kind of sound like him. When I started singing for Coach Ditka, he started then saying, hey, Johnny, try some different voices. So then he would say, I'm like, who are you thinking? You know, and you got like Louis Armstrong, right? I see those trees of green, red roses too. You got Johnny Cash. I hear the train a-coming. It's rolling around the bend. And you got to excuse me for jumping from voice to voice right now. It's a little difficult. But I do about 26 different ones. And when I did that, you know, I started branching. I was in the studio all day yesterday. My father is passing away with Parkinson's, dementia. To anybody who has somebody in their family or anybody who had somebody dealing with that, I want to say I'm so sorry. I never knew how hard this disease was. You know, when you're younger, I'm 52 years old. When you're younger and you hear somebody saying, hey, my dad got dementia or something, you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. When you experience it, you're like, I really wish I would have known what that person was going through, because it's not easy. So yesterday I went in and I wrote a country song and recorded it, and we're hoping to get it out to a very large, I can't say his name, very large country artist. And it's called He's My Dad. And it's a song I wrote about my dad about 10 years ago, and Coach Ditka. And now that my father is in the stages he is in, it just felt like the right time, Joe, to have it, you know, come out. So, you know, music comes from the heart. And going at that racetrack on Saturday, I was really emotional having the military behind me, because my best friend, who is head of the Secretary of the Army's office at the Pentagon, Jason Eason, who is also a very huge Yankees fan, by the way, and you'll meet him at the game when we come to Wrigley. You know, man, you got to do, like you said, like Aaron Judd, do the right things in life and try your best. None of us are perfect. We can't be. It's okay. Just what I saw out there at that racetrack on that day was people having a blast, living in the moment, and I felt at home. It was so sweet, man. It was a great time. I wish I could have stayed longer.
Well,
next time I'm gonna.
Yes. Well,
next time I'm staying all day. You're gonna be pissed. I'm gonna stay 2 days.
No. Listen, we've been through this before. It's wonderful. We're this very kind of intense but relatively small fan base. We love bringing people in and showcasing. You're welcome back. I already talked with the folks at the NHRA. They were super stoked that you liked it, like genuine appreciation. We already know we're going to be back there next year. They're working on the dates. We'll just make it all happen. John, give your Instagram or give somewhere where my audience can follow.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. A website, Instagram, any of my social media will be under John Vincent Live. So my website's John Vincent Live, Instagram's John Vincent Live, and so is Facebook. So I'm on all those.
Excellent. And I tagged you in this and just appreciate you coming on the show. It's rare. We're in a bubble, right? Everybody that we talk to generally already loves the sport. So when I get the opportunity to get this moment, we call it the baptism by nitro. The first time you feel that shock and understand what's going on, and you're forever change. And you are a perfect example of it. And I really appreciate it. Obviously to what's going on with you and your dad. My dad's 81 years old. He's got a different problem. He's got COPD. I can't even imagine what you're dealing with. I can't imagine. But listen, we're both lucky that that to have gotten to experience 80 years with our parents, right? There are a lot of people. I have a friend who lost his dad. His dad was like 40 something.
Yes,
so,
sir.
It's tough, but it's part of life. Thank you for joining us on the show. Welcome back anytime. We'll get together on that September date. If that were to work out, that would be crazy. And, good luck. And thank you again for coming on our show.
Well, Joe, I want to say thank you. Thank you to the NHRA, Joliet Speedway, and all the fans and drivers and everybody and everybody involved in it. You guys are all awesome. I had a blast, and thank you for making me smile on a Sunday. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yes, likewise, John. Stay in touch. Talk soon. All the best to your dad.
Thanks.
There he goes. The voice, John Vincent, with us here on WFO Radio. And the fact that he does impressions while singing at a high level, it's just mind blowing. And everybody in the chat section is saying that, right? Like they're all like mind blowing. I love the voice, love the voices. Oh my goodness. That was awesome. Love it. This insanity, how talented this man is. And he comes out and he spends time and he enjoys the NHRA in the first time. And in 1 second, we became buds, and, amazing. And thank you again, John. I really appreciate you coming on the show. All right, guys, final comments in the comment section. And while we do that, I'm going to tell you about a couple of things that are going on in the WFO universe. Like right now, we always tell everybody, like, look, buy our gear when it's on sale. I want to save everybody a couple of bucks. You can get t-shirts now for $16. That's nothing. And these are good t-shirts. They're nice. They're the real softy ones. I'm going to put the link in the chat section. It's our T Public WFO store. You can get the Miami Hollywood Speedway retro shirts. You can get decals. You can get coffee mugs. You can get giant tapestries for your wall. I don't understand it, but people are doing it. Definitely get in on the WFO gear. But I think the one is the 7-inch circle. The 7-inch WFO simple logo is really great stuff. And if you want our 10th anniversary shirt, you got to get it at Hot Rod Randy's Horsepower headquarters out at the racetrack. That is the place where you're definitely going to get it. Dugenet, I lost my dad in 2012 very quickly. Enjoy the moments you have with them. I think about that every day, Dugenet. I think about it every day. And I really appreciate, like in the morning, he was like, I got to go take care of my dad. And I was like, okay, I could tell it was a serious thing. It's like, give me 10 minutes. He's like, all right, 10 minutes. And, it made all the difference. It made all the difference to him. And obviously we had a good time. Marvin Rodak, 817-924-6821, rodakscoffeeandgrills.com. The hot sauces, the spice rubs, everything good. Get yourself a little coffee. You want to drive one of these dragsters? Not quite as fast. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure, frankhawley.com. Call them. It makes a tremendous gift. If you'd like to follow in the footsteps of the people who build the engines, samtech.edu. They're approved to train veterans under the GI Bill. Samtech. Plus our great friends at Foggett. You heard a little bit about them at the start of the show. Bernie Speed Shop, 100,000 square feet of classic cars, exotic cars. They're buying, they're selling on consignment. They sell e-bikes, as in their electric bikes, those ones that are zooming down the street. You can pedal them as well. Go to bernies.com, follow their social media. CWTindustries.com, balance machines for machine shops. If it rotates, it can be balanced, and it should be balanced because you don't want to lose life and you don't want to lose power. And both of those come from the perfect balance. Plus FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters, Phillips Connect, Total Seal. These are all the people that support WFO Radio as we continue trying to make it in the world, frankly. We are trying to make it in the world. And if you'd like to support the show at another level, we're about to do a new episode of Hear It from Heiner, the Pro Stock Crew Chief show, where you hear, like, what did Michael Heiner think of all the stuff that went down behind the scenes and in front of the scenes? How did they run their low ET of the weekend in first round eliminations? You can go to patreon.com/WFO radio and you decide if you want a t-shirt for free. Just sign up for a year. I'll send you a t-shirt for free in addition to stickers and patches and all the different Patreon swag. You get to watch the Ignition show. You get to go behind the scenes. You get to do a lot of different things with our Patreon group. And yeah, just a look at some of the gear and swag that we have available while it's on sale. All right, let's see what everybody's got going on. How great was John Vincent, guys? How great was John Vincent? I'll be on tomorrow with Life's a Drag. I'm having like my busiest week of broadcasting. We did a great Ignition show on Monday. Yesterday, we had Alan Reinhart. We had Dallas Glenn. Dallas Glenn was fantastic. But last night, I spent a little time with TJ Reeves. TJ used to work with me at XM Satellite Radio on XM Sports Nation. He was the morning show host, like the mainstream sports stick and ball host, who I would come on the air and talk motorsports. And he was also one of the people that's like, when drag racing was coming up, he's like, follow your heart, follow your heart. He and Phil DeMontmollin, the WFO insider, invited me on their podcast. It's called The Last Word on Sport. Last Word on Sport. And it's about sports media. And we're going to talk about the Indy 500. We're going to talk NHRA drag racing. Phil DeMontmollin, who is the man behind the Announcer Skeds handle on X, right? Announcer Skeds, SKED, which tells you the broadcast crew of every game that is happening. People want to know who's broadcasting the games. And Phil D on Twitter, like I always recommend people just start doing something on Twitter, started Announcer Skeds, and it has been picked up by everyone. Like everybody in sports media follows Announcer Skeds. And so TJ Reeves, Last Word on Sport, and Announcer Skeds, they have got a podcast called The Last Word on Sports Media. And I was their guest. I'll be tweeting out the link. But if you want to hear some inside stories from my past, you want to hear like where I came from, they're bringing up stories and things that I forgot. And it was really great being a guest on their show. So that's on there. And then tomorrow, me and the Jasons are going to do a roundtable on Life's a Drag. And so I'm very busy bee lately, which is kind of cool. I love, everybody knows I love being a guest on someone else's show, more so than I, even love doing my own show, because it's the difference between riding and driving. I can look around and I can trip them up. That's also something fun I have to do. And since I did mention Dugenais and Monday Morning Racer were on, they had Greg Anderson and John DeFlorian on last night. They did a great job just hearing their takes. Dugenais in particular, because Monday Morning Racer, Lee Kraft, he was there. But Dugenais was kind of viewing from afar. They both had the same take that I had. Not that I need to be reaffirmed, but I was reaffirmed in that was a great event. And anybody that wants to dig down to find something negative about it, like I'll give you the negative. We had fog. We had a timing system issue. We had some audio issues on NHRA.TV. First time in ages. Really, what everybody should be taken out of that is that, boy, there used to be audio issues and issues all the time. Then now it's rare. It's rare. They continue to work to make everything better. Every event, every day, they're working to make it better. We had a great crowd, great event. Yeah, we had an oil down on Sunday morning. That was tough. Rear gear oil on the track. It was tough. Those are your negatives. I've just put them out there on the table for you. I'm not afraid of the negatives because everything's going to have some negatives. Okay. But the positives absolutely outweigh the negatives. And as indicated by John Vincent, who this guy has sung the national anthem at the World Series, and now he's in love with drag racing and will hopefully come back. Let's see what people have to say. Kenneth, that was mind-blowing. No, it really was. It really was. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for a great live show. Thank you. I ask you to share the show, subscribe, click the bell. We haven't encountered every drag racing fan out there. There are so many drag racing fans. They love the sport, and still they don't know that there's all of this, drag racing content, whether it be the Power Hour, whether it be NHRA Insider, whether it be WFO Radio or Life's a Drag or Wes or anybody out there who's doing a show. I apologize if I forgot that you're out there doing a show, but there's a lot of content, and not everybody talks about the same stuff. So it's good. And for me, that's why I am, mentioning all the other shows, because, my audience, like if the day that comes that you say, man, Castello is, not good anymore, we like these other people. As long as you're talking drag racing, I'm cool with it. Fantastic show today. Frisky. Excellent show once again. Joe and John Vincent, the best yet. Thank you, John Vincent. I knew, really, I'm just pandering to the Cubs fans, right? I should have uploaded some photographs at me at Wrigley, but you can go to my personal WFO on Instagram and see some of those. I had a great time. One of the best WFO interviews ever, right? He's a non-drag racer, Lonnie. We can branch out. Best anthem sung ever, says Frisky. Yeah, it was awesome to hear the excitement of the first timer to the NHRA. And that's really what it's all about. That's why I said to him on the starting line, and hey man, would you be up for, actually, it was when he called me on Monday morning and my voice was all messed up. And I was like, okay, John, can you come on the show? And he said, yes. Awesome guest. Love the voice. Mind blowing. And thank you so much for all your comments out there. Yeah, exactly. Let's watch this video again, because this is what hooked him, this experience. And yeah, my view of the funny car final. Now, Kurt. Stretch. Look at Kurt get in there. Look at Kurt goes right in. Look at Kurt gets right in the middle of it all. You watch those shows, the behind the scenes stuff. You want to know how the sausage gets made. Kurt just dives right in there, man. He is in there with his camera, and you are up close and personal. It was an amazing moment. Kimmy says something about flow. I like flow. I'm not against flow. Don't try to create stuff. Yeah, I should mention Lyle and Stevie. Stevie with Killing Time Racing now putting up money for #1 qualifier. That's cool. Courtney, had a great conversation with Courtney. We discussed reprising a happy hour show at some point in the near future to kind of throw back to where it all got started. And we're going to do it. So subscribe. It's right down there. Click the bell. Never miss a show. And we're going to have, we're just getting started, guys. We're just getting started. This season is just getting started. Appreciate everybody. The sport that we love, in its own little bubble, it's so important. But we are still a tiny grain of sand on a vast beach of sports entertainment. We think that people might not be into what we like, but the answer is no. They have never heard of us. They do not know that we exist. They do not know that the world of NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing is out there just yet. But they will, because of you. Sharing this show or another show, or inviting some friends over to your house to have a watch party. Our next event, we're going to New England Dragway. You'd think it'd be a sellout, right? Relatively small track, place with diehard history, and a whole bunch of race fans will be up there in New England next weekend. It is Memorial Day weekend, though. And so I do want to say thank you. Thank you to those of you out there in the cosmos who made the ultimate sacrifice, gave your lives for our country, for our democracy, for our freedom, for our rights to go to the games and enjoy drag racing and spend money on parts and blow them up. America does not exist just because. It exists because people sacrificed their lives, gave their blood for our freedom. not just in the Revolutionary War, but throughout. And, you think about World War II, where our sport came from. It could have gone a different way. And what would the world look like right now? So eat your hot dogs, enjoy the Indy 500, Monaco, and the Coke 600, but always remember why we have Memorial Day. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you all. Thanks to Hagan, Gaige, and John.